Today I'm going to show you how to wax and repair a pair of skis, and these are classic skis, so we're going to kick wax them as well. And the first step here, you can see, you come in here a little bit, but there is some kick wax on here, right? And this is hard to get off, but you're going to need crappy towel base cleaner. You're going to want to, you can shake it up and down a little bit, get some base cleaner on the towel, and then this is going to take a while and it's kind of hard, but you got to just scrape that off. You're going to have to put a few layers of base cleaner on your towel. You're just going to have to get that kick wax off. And while you're at it, use a clean part of the towel and get the rest of the ski with some base cleaner. Continuing to put some base cleaner on this, you can feel once all the kick wax is gone and see, you'll be able to feel it won't be sticky. It'll feel like the rest of the ski where there was never kick wax. Of course, if your skis are brand new and they've never been kick waxed, you will not have to do this. Okay, so I've gotten almost all the kick wax off here. This is going to be my final layer here. And now that I have gotten all the wax off, we're going to wait for this to dry. And you'll see it's super shiny, and you'll see it'll be a lot less shiny, basically, when it's dry. And it, will not be wet. Pretty easy to tell. Now I'm going to show you how to mark the cake zone where you're going to put your cake wax, right? Now, obviously, a lot of people will already have theirs marked. This is a very, very important step. And the first thing you're going to want to do is take your foot here. You're going to want to put the toe right up to the binding, right up to that fighting piece where your boot would clip in. You're going to do it the same on the other foot here. Then, you're going to take a playing card or something of that thickness. If this works. And you'll have someone else do this for you, but you're going to want to have your weight even on both skis and have that card slid up to the front until it stops. And then you're going to want to put a Sharpie mark there or something. And then you're going to want to slide it all the way back. Now, this is a lot harder because I don't have anyone helping me, and the marks aren't going to be accurate. And then you're going to want to slide it all the way back until you see that it stops. And then you're going to put a mark there. And that's your kick zone. You'll want to do this on both feet. So now that you've marked your kick zone, you're going to want to go ahead and brush the parts of your ski that are outside of your kick zone. So you can see I have one marked here. And we're just going to brush that out really good. All right. Get any debris and whatnot off. Hit the ski wax bind better. And then you're going to do the same thing on the back of the ski, right? So you can see my kick zone, probably can't, is here. Gonna brush the back of it. And get all the debris and whatnot off. Well, for the next part, I'm going to show you how to repair the scratches on your skis using a P-Tex candle. I have one right here. The tools you're going to need are a P-Tex candle, of course, a lighter, and a metal scraper. Very important that it's metal. And possibly one of these groove scrapers. The next part, you get to use this fire. And we're just going to want to get that P-Tex on fire. Get it real hot and dripping. And you can see my scratch under there. And I'm going to try to repair. Sometimes this takes a while to get it on fire. We're going to try to not let it rip. Now that we have fire here, we're going to wait for it to heat up a little bit. Oh, it went up. I got to get this hot so that the P-Tex, this rubber is dripping. Plastic, I don't know. It's a compound of sorts. And you can see I'm putting the P-Tex. I don't have a lot on there. And I'm going to put a lot of that P-Tex on there. You really can't go too overboard on this because we're all going to scrape the rest off. And I'll go ahead and do some of these too. This is not precision work here. And this one, and just make sure that they're thoroughly covered. Stuff on the sidewall can get a little more complicated, but that's good for now. Now we're going to blow this out. And it's still hot, so go ahead and use a little bit more of that on those scratches you're trying to repair. Now what we're going to do is you're going to take your metal scraper And you can see where the PTEX is dried on there. It's cool, right? I can put my hands on it. And you're going to want to scrape that excess off, right? Until it's smooth. And now you can see that there are no scratches. Now I can see there's a little unevenness right there, but what you don't see are scratches. There's still some around it, but there's less scratches. The next step is going to be actually putting wax on the ski. You're going to need an iron and the wax of your choice. Look at the bottle. It says the temperatures that you're going to need to use that wax for. In certain cases, you'll add multiple layers of flied wax and whatnot, but that's not what we're doing today. So you're going to take those cake wax markers, going to get your wax block hot, and the wax from that to the end of the ski. If you're starting the front or the back, it doesn't matter. But we'll get to the end of the ski, thin coating. There's another method I'm going to show you up here, where you can just lay a bead of wax on. I prefer not to do this and do another method that I just showed you. But then it is going to take this down to where the marker is. Oh, past it, crap. And you have a bead of wax laid. Okay, now that you have that wax laid on there, you're gonna want to just iron it on. Really just get it melted. You do not need to really cook it in. You will damage your skis and it will not hold wax. That's it. Now, we're going to do this to both sides. You can see it was a lot easier to smoothly iron in the technique that I used on the back part of the ski. But again, either one works. And now you have your wax laid on. Now, you're going to wait for this to cool for a little bit, and then I'll come back. Now that you've laid wax on the ski, we're going to scrape that off, basically. You're going to need a scraper, plastic one preferably, and you're just going to take where the wax is, where the wax starts, scrape it off pretty good. Alright. And for the next step, you could have done this before, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to get one of these groove scrapers thingies, and just get the groove, make sure that there's no wax in there. Now that you've gotten all the wax out, you're going to want to, and you can repeat this on both ends of course, get a metal brush and really just get all that excess wax that the scraper didn't get off, and brush this good, really good. Until there's no wax left. After that, in high performance scenarios, which this is not, we're just going to take a plastic scraper and do the same with it. It'll get little micro pieces of wax off, but we don't need to do that. So now you're just going to go ahead and repeat that on the back side of your ski. I'm going to show you guys how to cake wax this. So I'm going up to Glen Alps later, and it's going to be around 36 in fresh snow. Now, ideally we would have red Klister, but we don't, so I'm going to try a layer of Klister binder with a ton of V55 to see how that goes. But for Klister binder, it's pretty simple application. You're going to want to take this and put a thin layer down from the back to the front of your kick zone. And then you're going to repeat that on the other side. And have an iron warmed up to a lowish temperature, just enough to melt it. I think I have mine at like 100 C or something like that. And you're going to take that iron and you're just going to want to iron that in, right? So really make sure that gets good coverage, but remember, a really thin layer. I could have gone thinner on this. And you're just going to have to iron that in for a minute here until you've got some good coverage. I'm going to show you guys how to kick wax this ski. So I'm going up to Glen Alps later, and it's going to be around 36 in fresh snow. Now, ideally we would have red Klister, but we don't, so I'm going to try a layer of Klister binder with a ton of V55 to see how that goes. But for Klister binder, it's pretty simple application. You're going to want to take this and put a thin layer down from the back to the front of your kick zone. And then you're going to repeat that on the other side. And have an iron warmed up to a lowish temperature, just enough to melt it. I think I have mine at like 100 C or something like that. And you're going to take that iron and you're just going to want to iron that in, right? So really make sure that gets good coverage, but remember, a really thin layer. I could have gone thinner on this. And you're just going to have to iron that in for a minute here until you've got some good coverage. Now that we have the Klister binder on, you're going to wait for it to dry for a little bit until it's tacky, right? It's going to be tacky. Then you're going to take your wax of choice. And a lot of times you would not use this Klister binder, by the way. It's just circumstances. If you are, you're going to find the back of your kick zone here. I like to mark it with a layer of wax and then mark the front of your kick zone. And I'm going to do one real thick layer here. I guess maybe I didn't let the Klister dry long enough. It should look a lot whiter here, but it doesn't, so we're going to just go forward anyway. I should have let the Klister dry longer. I'll show you what it looks like on the other ski, what it should look like. It looks like this up front. Where there isn't, I guess I missed some Klister. It should look like that. But the Klister, I guess, is still too warm, and it's melting the wax. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to need your cork. And from front to back, you're just going to cork that in. This is a very warm wax, so just cork that in. And then for your next layer, you might want to do one a little farther up towards the middle. And then you have a bit of a pyramid shape going, and this helps to reduce drag. Now that you have your second layer here, you might want to, and you're just going to want to cork it in again. But start at the same place you did last time, trying to make a pyramid here. And then for my third and final layer here, maybe I'll do one more. I'll start really close to the center here. And then just go ahead and cork that as well. And then you're pretty much waxed. This varies a lot based on conditions, but that's pretty much how you wax the Pirates of Classic skis.